Mary Jane Watson, Associate Editor. Begin research notes. What started as a museum heist a few days ago has turned into a brutal assault on the city, and the casualties keep piling up. Last night, after almost killing Majiadan Hammerhead, Captain Yuri Watanabe was forced into administrative leave. Sources say she told the chief, "This won't stop me." Note, follow up on this later. Feels like this isn't the end of her story. Meanwhile, Hammerhead, who was pronounced dead at the scene, was revived and escaped custody. Police are searching for him, but there are no solid leads. His men are continuing to target Sable weaponry and vehicles, including something called Project Olympus. From what we can gather, Project Olympus is an Oscorp and Sable-funded initiative. Bioenhancement technology meant to transform people into indestructible super soldiers. Hammerhead is ruthless and insane, and now apparently indestructible. But first things first, figure out where Hammerhead is hiding. The question is, what are we gonna do when we find him?
I presume what we're gonna do when we find him is beat him up, and then throw him in the raft.
Hey MJ, I'm following the police to an Oscorp plant. Sounds like Hammerhead's guys are at it again. Got any updates on Yuri?
Nothing yet. You miss her, don't you?
Yeah, we were a good team. I mean, not like me and you, but, you know.
I know. So listen, I've got a source at Oscorp. They're ramping up production of this Project Olympus equipment, which is probably why Hammerhead's men are attacking that plant. The Olympus contract is for Sable International, part of a deal she made with Osborn during the Devil's Breath crisis. And I just learned it's all supposed to be shipping overseas to Symkaria.
Symkaria? Silver Sable's home country.
And also the site of an increasingly bloody civil war. Have you heard about this?
No, I'm not really caught up on international news. We've been a little busy with our own war here in New York.
It's a hell of a story. I'll fill you in when we have more time.
Yeah, it'd be nice to talk about something other than Hammerhead for a while.
What do you think about taking a vacation when all this is over?
Vacation? I'm not sure I know what that word means.
Yeah, I'm with you. But seriously, we both need it. I'll start doing some planning. Let me know what happens at that Oscorp plant.
Will do.
Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome back to Spider-Man. Now entering the last of the DLC, the Silver Lining. Now, I remember when I first thought that each of the DLC was going to focus more on, like, a specific character, but it seems as... and that's true. Like, this is going to be focusing more on the Silver Sable, I presume. But, it's still telling one complete story about Hammerhead's attempt to take on New York. Also, why is Sable still making deals with Norman Osborn? I would imagine that well has been tainted.
Bring it on! Wait a minute. Is this a dance-off? I love those! It's my turn. This new armor is cool and all, but I kind of miss seeing your desperate attempts at 70s gangster fashion. Here we go! And Spider-Man! You guys get right to the point, don't you?
Alright, so this was a little bit tricky. I had already recorded all of this before and Audacity had the audacity to decide, you know what, I don't want to record anything. So I'm kind of recording this after the fact. Because everybody's consistently being punched at.
If that's the case, nice to meet you, Vinny. And Vinny. And all you other Vinnies.
Also, like, in regards to my a previous episode, I made the comment in which, like, can people hear Spider-Man when he is swinging through the city? Like, the idea that the wind is rushing by so quickly, any phone calls he's trying to make are just lost in all the noise. So consider the fight banter he attempts to make in the middle of combat. There are people shooting left and right. There are people getting punched in the face by Spider-Man or zapped by Spider-Man at the time. Most of these people probably can't even hear the incredible jokes that Spider-Man's trying to make. They're just going right over his head. Over their heads, should I say. And now this jetpack guy is just gonna pick on this one specific police officer for no reason at all.
Let's play Save the Pigs. That's just rude. Jetpack guy does not have good intentions with that police. Oh, hello, ambush.
He already forgot the jetpack guy's name was Vinny.
No one's talking, huh? Maybe you just can't hear me over the sound of those jetpacks.
There you go, Spidey.
Where do I get one? Let me guess. They fell off the back of a truck, right? You know, instead of stealing everything, you guys should try making your own stuff. It's much more emotionally rewarding. Maybe you wouldn't be so angry all the time.
If you're emotionally rewarded with the act of making your own jetpack. Although I suppose that's not technically true because Doc Ock made his own stuff. And the emotion that he was rewarded with was anger. Oh, snap. Although, yeah, the jetpack guys in this game are a little bit more of a pain in the ass. Or should I say, in this DLC, are a little bit more of a pain in the ass. Because now they're finally given the ability to kind of like slam down on you. Whereas most of the time they just kind of have the ability to shoot at you from a distance. Although I think after managing to play through the whole campaign, these regular big guys, they aren't quite as much of a problem as they used to be. Like, I remember when I started playing the game, like the surprisingly aggressive nature of the big guy really took me off guard. And to the point in which it felt like there were very specific strategies I could use. But even, like, looking now, it's kind of like I don't even really need the web shooters, I don't need the impact web, I just need just a very basic dodge and punch. But I can also use the web shooters to help out, I can use the impact web. I've got a lot of tools now on my utility belt, so to speak.
Hey! Come closer. I dare ya! Now, is that just a regular dare or a double dog dare?
And hello.
That yours? No?
But I wish it was.
If it was.
And she managed to hit nobody. But was an excellent distraction.
You okay? Yeah.
So I guess in that sense she succeeded? Also, her design is badass, I gotta
Who do you
say.
work for?
He works for Hammerhead.
Although I wonder why her hair is specifically white, similar to how Black Cat's hair is specifically white.
By the way,
I'm sure it has something to do in regards to
Tell me everything you know.
the origin in comic books.
You have 3 seconds.
just put the guns down.
1,
We really gonna do this? 2, 6, 9, 11, 7, 3.
And of course, boss fight.
Sable. You see
And
one of those
basically
traps?
she is a
Relax,
very,
relax.
very
In, out.
tell me where to find Hammerhead.
I wish I knew.
like an aggressive version of the big guy. So like the regular big guy, but much more aggressive. Also, she's got a counter grab
You are supposed to
that if you just keep punching her,
And yet you
she'll
have allowed this
eventually
Hammerhead to steal all of my
do it.
weapons and supplies.
I didn't allow anything. I'm trying to stop him from stealing your stuff.
Also,
Failing.
your own mercenary group failed it, so you really shouldn't blame me entirely.
Working with him.
Wow. Now I'm insulted.
I do not know you,
Obviously.
and I do not trust you. You will stay out of my way or suffer the consequences.
stay out of your way while you do what?
While I find and kill Hammerhead.
Good luck with that. He doesn't die so easily.
Especially since, he's still somehow survived Yuri's attack on him. Now that's clearly an opportunity that I missed, but that's okay. Now that I know I can do it, I will not miss that opportunity again.
Damn you!
What happened to you? I thought you were a good guy.
I am good at what I do. But I am not a guy.
I don't think that's what I intended with my message. Yeah.
What happened to you can thank me by not dying?
Well, I guess the Silver Sable is back in town. And none too happy about it?
So guess who's back in town?
Silver Sable, I know.
How did you know that?
It's my job to know things. So I imagine she's here to stop Hammerhead from stealing all her shipments. Which is good. Maybe you guys can team up.
Yeah, that doesn't feel very likely at this point.
Well, listen, I'm gonna keep looking into the Simcaria story. It's...
That conversation was going nowhere!
Yeah, Screwball.
How did you...
Quick! Head to 8th and Perlman before me and my fans die of boredom!
What is she up to this time? Better get there before she hurts someone. Hey, MJ.
Check,
Sorry
check,
we got
check.
cut short earlier. Had to deal with Screwball. Again.
You seem to have a lot of women in your life lately.
And all of them challenging. Except for you, of course.
That was a nice catch.
Challenging?
No? Unless you want me to think you're challenging, in which case you, to challenge me. In all the right ways.
Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll keep looking into Hammerhead's plans, and I'll call you when I find something... challenging.
In the meantime, I'll swing around the city and do some Spidey stuff.
Well, that was awkward, but I cannot say that I am much better myself. So let's swing around the city and do Spidey stuff, because that's something I know. Maybe start with some Screwball challenges,
Long time no see.
because I'm interested in them. Very interested. This one's at least a little different in that you're just supposed to go around disarming bombs, but still, it's a challenge mode, and like I would rather have a like a
You're right by it!
I would rather have like a regular story mission, should I say?
Stunning! Are you a professional? Almost there! But will you be too late? Wow, what a great shot! You are on the right track! OMG, you couldn't get much closer if you tried!
One more. Better hurry.
Come on, you can do better than that!
I need to follow that truck.
And done. Oh, there we go. And done.
I'm so neurotic. I'm mad I didn't perform flawlessly for a criminal.
Passable.
All units, report of truck driver in distress. Financial district.
Could be Hammerhead's guys. Better check it out.
Yeah, more crime. I wonder, actually, look at the map. There are 5 lock challenges. Another 5, another 5. So I guess there's gonna have to be more crimes that must be stopped. As would be expected of any Spider-Man DLC, it seems. Also, I haven't bothered even looking at the new suit. No. You know, I've used this particular suit for like pretty much the entire game. I've never really been one to just keep changing costumes. I tend to use the same. I usually pick like an outfit and decide, yep, that's the one I like. Okay, so there's one more suit to get. Like I don't really see the importance of, like, it's nice to have all these options. Like, I guess it's nice to have this option, but I would never use it. Complete all district activities. Now let's switch to the websuit for a little while.
Hey, Peter. Just checking in. You busy?
Sort of. How are your assignments coming?
You mean school assignments or spider assignments?
Both.
Both?
But school comes first.
I'm all caught up on school stuff, working on spider assignments now. But why are you making me do physics and calculus equations? Shouldn't I be practicing with web shooters and gadgets and stuff?
Okay, quiz time. If a pendulum is 40 meters long and attached at a 45-degree angle, how far will the pendulum fall at its lowest point?
11.72 meters. But why does that matter?
It matters a lot if you're the pendulum.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, so you do all these equations in your head like while you're swinging through the city?
I have to. And so will you if you want to get good at it.
Wow.
That makes
No
sense.
idea. All right, guess I'll get back to it then.
I mean, I don't do any. But then this game is essentially made so you are in like
Hey, don't leave!
you're
I
meant
just
to
got here.
feel like the hero. You're not supposed to put in that extra effort to become the hero.
Spider-Man is a failure. You might think this would make me happy, and to some extent you'd be absolutely right. But today, I am tired. Tired of all the senseless violence continually afflicting our streets, which that masked menace failed to put an end to. He failed to stop Hammerhead and his men, who are now using stolen Sable international weaponry to wreak more havoc than ever. And speaking of Sable, Miss Abuse of Power herself is back in New York, this time aboard some kind of fancy schmancy gunship. Where was that when the city was cowering under the terror inflicted by Martin Lee and Otto Octavius, huh? Collecting dust in a Simcarian warehouse? It's a shame.
Yeah, she does have a whole bunch of technology, just wasn't used in the main campaign. Like, if she had those digging tools, would she have been a better effective weapon against the forces of Mr. Negative and Dr. Octopus? Or would she have just destroyed more of the city? Alright, that's good enough. Almost gold, but I've said it enough. I don't really care enough to go for gold. I'm really just going for bronze. What do you call somebody who could be the best if they tried, but they really just they don't go for being the best? They go for LeBron's. I'll stop.
Folks, we need to talk more about this live streaming egomaniac Screwball.
Finally, he actually has something to say about Screwball.
Glorifies that narcissistic webhead Spider-Man, but her shows, if you can even call them that, are putting hard-working New Yorkers in harm's way just so she can gain followers, whatever that means. Can't you see her ridiculous stunts are nothing more than a desperate ploy for attention? Come on, folks. You're smarter than that. By watching her shows, you're literally hurting yourselves. So, you ask, what should we do instead, Jonah? Here's an idea. Tune into my show instead.
Give my show's
The only thing I'll hurt
views.
you with is the truth.
You'll definitely not
That's
hurt.
a good one. Write that one down, Jared. Let's use it in the next promo.
Our show is clearly meant to help you out, even though we spent the entire campaign calling Norman Osborn the good guy, the best guy. But when it was revealed that he actually made the chemical weapon, he is the horrible, horrible criminal mayor
Alright.
using the city.
The viewers have voted, and they want to see more gadget combos. You know the drill, Spidey. Combine your gadgets and get creative.
So this combo is the electric web and the impact web? Also, these like this video or this cutscene and the last DLC's cutscene seem to really bug out for some reason. Like it seems that as though the trap has to work on all the bad guys in order for the cutscene to continue. Like in the previous DLC, the cutscene did not finish itself. It did not fully entrap the one bad guy, and it just kind of sat there, just like this. And I thought it was just a weird fluke, but now it's, I think this might actually be a fluke, in that like the cutscene cannot finish, it cannot trigger the main mission, unless everybody else is snagged. And that's not happening, so I'm going to use my fix that got me out of the previous one, which is abandoning the challenge and then restarting the challenge, which mysteriously allowed me to just jump past the cutscene and straight to the gameplay. And it worked! Impact Web and Electric Web it is.
What you got?
Now in theory I don't really need the Electric Web. Good. Good. Join the dark side.
Can we do another photo?
Man, that was a little bit less interesting. Those two gadgets don't really quite create the same. Like, it's a bit more of a challenge, I suppose, because you're, instead of having a gadget that hits larger groups of people, you're using gadgets that just hit, Okay, so the electric web stuns large groups. The impact web generally hits individuals. There are tactics that could be used. Obviously, there are, because I'm not an expert. Like, you could zap somebody, impact web them towards a group, and then the zap hits the rest of their group. So there are various tactics you could use, but they're a little bit trickier to perform. Like, in the middle of a combat scenario, when you really haven't tried combining those two like, I feel that the main game gives you all these gadgets with the hope that you're going to combine their abilities, but it doesn't require you to combine their abilities. So I spent most of the game generally just using one gadget at a time, very rarely combining their efforts to do two gadgets, even though there are a few gadgets that do work best when in conjunction with each other. I just happen to suck at this game. Or, I don't suck at this game. I'm only okay. But for now, let's take on this last bomb challenge. Go to the party, see if Screwball is there IRL,
Track down those bombs before
and
they
put
go
a
off.
stop to her, once and for all.
We did it! 50 million followers! Oh, the party starts now! See y'all there! Sorry, Webhead, you're not invited. Subscribers only, but I still love you. Mwah.
Screwball is the ultimate narcissist. There's no way she'd miss her own party. Gotta find out where it is. Maybe one of her fans posted something about it.
Probably.
Someone who had time to scour a bunch of social media posts.
Miles, maybe?
Hello?
Ah, that was a good guess.
Hey, Pete. Just checking in.
Miles! Are you? Did you just hear what I said?
You said hello.
Huh. Guess your timing is just weirdly perfect. Anyway, I got a mission for you.
Like a spider mission? Oh man, let's do this!
I need you to browse
social
social
media.
media.
And find the location of Screwball's 50 million follower party.
Oh. Okay. Sure. I'll call you as soon as I find something.
I didn't want to be the man behind the
While I wait for
computer.
Miles, we can do some Spidey patrolling.
And while I wait for Miles, I might as well actually try to head up the main mission.
Open up! Or we'll open it for you! Leave me alone!
So he's got an awesome super suit, but he still can't force open a car door. Keep enemies from breaking into the truck. I've done that before.
You should just wait for Black Friday like everyone else.
There's more guys coming!
Oh, yes there is.
Get the door! Get Spike!
Nobody's getting the door.
That shit up! Come on, more guys!
Oh. There was a mission like this in Turf Wars, I believe. Where, yeah, you were trying to save the Dons because they were being buried in cement. See, he looked like he was heading for the door. But there's no way out of this mission
Can you guys tell the next
for
folks to
these
bring some
guys.
snacks? Getting a little hungry.
Damn it. Okay, so web bomb. Nope, not you. And there's another jetpack guy, so I'm gonna zap him. It definitely seems as though the timer for the door is obviously a lot shorter than the cement mixer trial. Alright.
Take a bow, but I'm trying to
Yep,
work on
that
my
was a
skill.
crime mission.
Thanks, Spider-Man. That was a close one.
We've got it from here, Spidey. This tech isn't going anywhere.
Hey, MJ, what's up?
Hammerhead guys are hitting an Oscorp shipping facility near Seaport.
Got it. I'm headed there now.
Question for you. We know Hammerhead stole most of the Sable weapons already, and a bunch of equipment from police lockup. Now he's stealing Sable tech that's bound for Symkaria. Where is he putting all this stuff?
No idea. But if we can find out where, we can cut off his supplies.
I'll try to cross-reference his men's activity with the city map. See if I can't nail down a location.
Good plan.
Hey, so I've been reading up on the situation in Symkaria. There's a ruling dictator attacking his own people. Apparently Silver Sable's been working alone to arm the rebels and fight back, but she's losing.
Sounds like she could really use the stuff Hammerhead is stealing from her.
Explains why she's so angry and desperate.
Maybe, but I also think that angry is just her default emotion. I'll let you know what I find at the shipping facility.
Like there is no happy face for the Silver Sable. Just anger. Alright, so there's actually a pretty decent amount of, let's see, there's 2 side missions in that area. There's still a bunch of locked activities. And there's crime.
Miles!
Oh, hello.
Check it out.
Miles, that's great! Thanks so much!
You want me to meet you there? Just in case you need some backup?
No. But don't worry. We'll get you out in the field soon enough.
In Spider-Man 2, most likely.
Can't wait. Like, literally, waiting is really hard.
I know, Miles, I know. Talk soon. Okay, rooftop party near Church and Brew. I think the saddest thing about Screwball is that, in a way, she's a victim of her own fans. Most criminals have an end goal, but I don't think Screwball does. She's just a social media addict. As long as her fans keep giving her validation, she's going to keep doing more and more dangerous stunts. Which is why I need to stop her. Tonight.
Actually, because the Screwball party is so close, I was thinking of doing the crime missions first, but since I'm already here, and it's a side mission anyway, let us rain on Screwball's parade one last time. Although I would imagine she's brought quite a lot of her friends, or should I say, she probably doesn't have friends, her fans there. Hey,
Screwball must be here somewhere.
are you
She's
Screwball?
freaking me out again. This feels like a party she'd want to attend.
Hey y'all! Hope you're having fun! Don't forget to tag me in your selfies! Oh, look! Spider-Man's here!
Screwball, don't move.
Come on!
Ah,
The world is watching!
also,
Just because people are watching.
how did she become so fast?
Any better of a person?
Wow! Mood killer! Try to keep the banter light and fun, Kay? Who wants to see some photobombs? Ooh!
Complete every photobomb activity.
I do!
Stop!
No way, Jose! Look at that spike in concurrent viewers! We gotta keep the bomb!
Okay, so this is basically
Man, everybody's got drones these days.
crap. Okay,
Watch out! Or don't! It's entertaining either.
That's one drone.
god damn it. Ah, it's the drone that is tossing those up, which means I will want to destroy it soonest.
Get that photobomb!
Which is quite literally a bomb. Trying to catch her, but
That's all of them.
okay, so that's back to
That photobomb!
the previous section that I was stuck on. The drones are now taken care of. So now, hopefully, I can catch
Oh, don't miss the photobomb!
this very, very fast individual.
Get close and finish this.
Finally.
You only caught me because I wanted you to catch me! Look how many followers I gained! Yes! You guys know who I am, right? Of course you do. Mind if I live stream on the way to the station?
Officially unfollowed.
Finally. Actually, now that I think about it, the entire gameplay mechanic of having like when people are going after the truck and I have to keep them from opening the truck while fighting off a whole bunch of guys, I previously said is very similar to what's seen in Turf Wars when
a lot of guys on his payroll.
when Hammerhead's trying to kill off the Dons via cement mixer, and that's a very obvious like one-to-one gameplay switch. But you could say that it actually starts off more in the heist, because there is that initial mission in which the Black Cat is attempting to steal that painting. And in that mission, like, bad guys start just grabbing random works of art.
I'm trying to work on my humility.
Thanks, Spider-Man.
Spider-Man,
That was a close
I don't
one.
care what others say. You're a hero.
And so while you're trying to defeat all the bad guys, they're also trying to make their way out of the building with just random pieces of art for some reason. So you could say that almost is kind of like the beginning of that kind of gameplay concepts, in which you've got specific bad guys who are given very specific objectives. So as Spider-Man, you have to kind of fend off the group as a whole, but you're also supposed to stop the individual bad guys. And I wonder if that, I don't think that gameplay element really exists in the main campaign. So I wonder if that's something that's going to be developed on more as in Spider-Man 2. As I presume, due to the success of Spider-Man 1, Insomniac Games, their next game is going to be Spider-Man 2. I'd be really surprised if they didn't make a sequel. That said, I believe that Marvel recently canceled a lot of their licenses for their games, which is one of the reasons why the MMO shut down at the end. So I wonder if there's going to be something... Like, I would like to see a video game Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm no traffic cop, but I'm pretty sure this is a moving violation.
Alright. Because if this is the foundation for the... There we go.
I think there's Sable tech in there, and guys, trust me, you do not want to get on.
This would make for an interesting foundation to the video game cinematic universe, or the video game universe. So it would be interesting to see if they're actually figure out a decent way to kind of... Like, I'd imagine Insomniac would be definitely overworked if they were expected to do all of the different heroes.
Hammerhead guys, get here so fast.
Like, if they were supposed to... Like, I would imagine for the next Spider-Man, there's probably going to be Miles Morales as a playable character, as he's kind of been developed as this game has progressed. It would be interesting if there were more of the various Spider-Man characters introduced, but again, I guess you don't want it to be too crowded. At the same time, I would imagine Miles Morales as a playable character might be more interesting because it'll allow them to have two different types of Spider-Man-esque gameplay, giving the main character, or the player, a lot more variety. Beyond that, I would not be surprised to see Mary Jane return as a stealth character again. But again, I think it's probably way too soon to make those kinds of guesses. The one thing I can agree on is probably the fact that
They like that fuel. This is quite a pickle you got yourselves into. A giant, highly explosive pickle.
there we go. Is that, like, the Avengers Tower exists in this universe. So, characters like Tony Stark do exist in this universe. Characters like Jessica Jones do exist in this universe. And I highly doubt that Insomniac would be willing to, like, try to do every superhero, let alone have the resources to do every superhero, let alone do it well. So, that said, Sony does have a lot of very good, talented teams working for them.
These transports. Hammerhead's guys are getting creative.
So it would be interesting to see if they were able to negotiate their talent and create that that expanding universe that the film series has managed to accomplish. Also, consider the teams that Sony has attached to them in comparison to, say, Electronic Arts and the way that they negotiated their talent. Electronic Arts has the rights to Star Wars, and they've sort of used them. But it's clear that they don't care about story. Story is not exactly their first and foremost goal when making video games, as shown by the cancellation of Amy Hennig's Star Wars video game that was supposed to be made by Visceral Entertainment, along with the loot box fiasco that was Battlefront 2. That said, consider like different studios that are part of Sony, like Naughty Dog, or like I can't think of the name right now because I'm busy clobbering, but the studio that made Horizon Zero Dawn, Santa Monica, with their fantastic entry in the God of War series. There are very strong story-based games, as well as like gameplay. Just jetpack, guys. Oh, there we go. So I think the future might be bright on the video game front for Marvel games, depending on where Marvel sees itself. Now, Disney used to have its own development studio, but it did not quite work out. They had, what the hell was that? Landers? Okay. No.
You guys just don't know when to quit, which is kind of sort of admirable.
Yeah, their persistence. There we go. So, Disney did have their own video game studio for a while, and I believe that video game studio did make the game Split Second. But otherwise was generally not very successful.
That was a close one.
They had Disney Infinity going on, they had Split Second. So, as a video game studio, Disney hasn't really succeeded. They've managed to acquire a lot of great film studios and film licenses, and overall have done a very good job with them, overall. Not entirely. Here's looking at you, Solo. But as a video game industry, I don't think they quite understood how to break into that. And video games are tough, to be fair. So I would imagine it would make sense that they would start looking at outside help to worry about figuring out the gameplay aspect and developing that. That was a very long series of speculations, so thanks for sticking around for that random amount of speculation amidst my attempts at flailing through combat.
Can't even imagine what the people in Symkaria are going through right now. Hope these shipments help.
And all the crime has finally been solved. Forever. Or at the very least, until Spider-Man 2. You know, I thought I already took care of Project Olympus. Like it was supposed to be the finale of the last DLC, but I guess there's alternate versions of Olympus.
Don't leave. I just got here.
Exactly. That's very rude. I mean, I took my sweet time to get here, but hey.
You guys sure seem like you're in a hurry. Probably has nothing to do with all those stolen goods in the back, am I right? I'm sure it's all a big misunderstanding. The police will be here soon to help you return what you accidentally stole.
Yeah, it was all an accident.
Now stay here while I go help your friends. Gotta catch up to that other truck.
That is one narrow alley they managed to negotiate. Get. Shooting me with bullets. How rude. Also, narrow alleys. I always feel like I'm gonna, like, when I go down an alley like so, I feel like I'm gonna accidentally latch onto...
Oh, no, you
Get,
stole
nope.
me. Fine, you win this round. And your prize is a one-way ticket to Rikers. Okay, just 2 more.
Well, at least these guys aren't taking pot shots at me. Oh, never mind. They're complicating things nonetheless. Or is Silver Sable... Yep, Silver Sable's complicating things nonetheless. Could you not shoot at something that I'm on while I'm on it?
She's gonna kill someone.
Yeah, she's basically the Eastern European Punisher of this universe. I don't know where her native country is. That was just a guess.
Pardon us, folks. We'll be out of your hair in a minute.
Good.
If you guys had stopped earlier, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
Yeah, we wouldn't be having this conversation, and also the Silver Sable would not be trashing all of your cars with her gunship.
Oh, great, more of them. Whoa, what are they shooting?
They're shooting those concussive blasts that the jetpacks of Sable's, jetpack guys of Sable's military have been firing. I don't know why they're firing at me, or they're just firing at her and missing. There we go. It's nice of the gun to turn away to its more proper...
Hammerhead's got drones now? Guess he's really into modernizing his workforce. Those drones
Everybody's
are
got
really
drones.
interesting. I should help her, right? Right.
Alright. Get. Oh, I'm shooting the electric webs instead of the regular web shooters. No, don't shoot the... It's like I have to get really, really close, like. Okay.
One down.
I'm surprised her combat ship does not have the ability to...
And grounded. If I could land on the wing, I could use both web shooters. Sable, I just want to make it very clear. I'm trying to help you right now. Oh, sure thing. As soon as I take out the rest of these drones. Hey, Sable, you're all clear now. I'll just assume silence means thank you in Simkari. Okay, now on to that last truck.
Ah, Simcaria, that's... There we go. Not exactly the most glorious method of taking it down, but hey.
Easy, easy!
Where's Hammerhead?
If I talk, he'll kill me. So you do what you gotta do.
But if you don't talk, she'll kill you.
Look, we both want the same thing. If we work together, we'll find him.
Also, you probably shouldn't hold her gun like that, as it's kind of being pointed towards you.
Right. We work together. Like partners.
Like partners?
Yeah, partners.
Yeah, that's an obvious tracker.
So you'll call me? I am 77% sure she's not a robot.
That is an oddly specific number.
Sorry, no access through here.
Question, though, is that more than just a tracker?
Attention units, there's an assault in progress.
That doesn't sound good. Better check it out. Miles, you done with your assignments?
Yeah, and I can see why it's so important. But listen, I took a look at those web shooters in your bag. Are those for me?
Yes, but only when you're ready. What were you doing in my bag?
It was open, and I could see them, sort of. And I just noticed that the nozzle size and shape is the same as your other ones.
Yeah, so?
Well, according to Hooke's law, elastic force is linear with distance given all factors are equal. But you and I aren't equal.
Wow, you're right. Just a few pounds can affect tensile strength, rate of web fluid consumption,
And a few other things. But I've done all the calculations. If we just tighten the nozzle diameter by 0.7 millimeters, it all pretty much evens out.
I think I've officially underestimated you.
That's a good thing, right?
Seems like you're more than ready for field training. As soon as I'm done dealing with Hammerhead.
Yes! Can I start practicing with the web shooters in the meantime?
Nope. And if I find out you even left the house, I'll call it off.
Man, you're like the most and least fun superhero ever.
It's a tricky balance to be the most fun and the most boring at the same time. But somehow, Spider-Man manages to walk that tightrope. Somehow. Thank you for watching. Questions, comments, recommendations for something to play next? Comment down below or send it on over to itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. That's itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. So long for now.